Ishwaq, it's open. Students are solving. It's open from 10 to 10:20. You are in section number 2, so you should go for section number 2, not section number 1. It's fine. That's why I have given you 5 minutes. It's one question in 5 minutes. And the question is really a simple question. The question is only meant for...
Sir,
Yes.
choose number B and D. There is a missing word events or events.
Which one?
Choice B and D.
No, your choices are going to be different. Each and every student is going to have a different choice. So the question is clear with the options. It's very clear.
About answeralty or something like this.
Yeah, this is what I said. It's one question for everything, but the answers are different. The question is correct. The answers are correct.
Mister, when I asked you, it's closed for me.
Close because you need to spend 5 minutes on it. You spend more than 5 minutes, close for you. Okay, anyhow.
Mister, you said 10 minutes.
10 minutes is the period. 5 minutes for answering the question. You can open it at any time within the 10 minutes. 5 minutes is for you whenever it opens. Anyhow, for today's, once again, okay, I'll just explain it for you since it's your first time to do the mobile quiz with me. Okay. The question will be open at a certain time. It has a beginning and it has an end. So for example, I have kept it for you. You can enter from 10 o'clock to 10:20. So 20 minutes, any time within this 20 minutes, you can enter. Whenever you enter and you see your question, you have only 5 minutes to answer that question. Are we clear? Is it clear? Okay. Now for this time, I'll do whatever I have done. Okay, I'll do whatever I have done with the other section. Okay, so for those who had a network issue or something, I'll post the question in the Teams, and you can answer it over there based on your answer. For those who were not able to answer the question in e-learning, they can answer in the Teams. Okay, so I'll post now a question in the Teams, and you can answer with the correct letter. And this is only for today, because it's your first time. If it's wrong, means wrong. Sure. No, it's one time only. For today, so it has even correct same answer. No. Ahmed, all answers are different from each other. All answers are different from each other. Okay, so I'm posting for you the question here. Those who were having an issue in accessing the e-learning, those who felt that their answer is wrong, only for today, I'm giving you a second chance that you can answer. For the upcoming session, all answers should be in the e-learning. Are we fine with that? So only today. Okay, this is the question. So you answer, see whatever correct answer according to you, and answer it. And try to finish it quickly, because we have a class to start. Okay, so once again, I'm repeating. So nobody, only write the letter. No need to write for me the, what you call the answer. Only the letter. I'll go for the letter only. Okay. Once again, I'm repeating. Only it's this lecture that I'm going to post the question in Teams. Other than this lecture, it's going to be only in the e-learning. You are going to have it at any time of the lecture, just to check whether you are attending at that time. Second thing, it will be open at a certain period, so 10 or 15 minutes. But whenever the question appears for you, you have only 5 minutes. I think most of you have already answered. Shouldn't have an issue. Shouldn't have an issue with that. Okay, we are going to go for the session. I think we have finished the project constraints with you, right? We have finished the project constraints. What was the last thing that we have finished with you? It was the project constraints, right? Okay. So today we are going to talk about the project management knowledge area, hopefully. And then if we have time, we'll go for project management and then project managers. So if we see here, now, if we see here, when it comes to project, on how to define project. You remember we had talked about different characteristics of project. We had said projects are normally temporary. They have a definite start, definite end. They require resources. They have progressive elaboration, if you remember. So we talked about the characteristics of projects. So from the characteristics, you can start defining your project. So if a person asks you what's the definition of a project, each and every person should have his own definition. This is what I believe. There is a standard definition, but if your definition implies or states the same, then I don't have any issue. I don't want a student to go and memorize the handout, or to memorize the definition as it is. Okay. So when we talk about projects, just a recap. When we talk about project, some of the students or some of us will think that it's always related to business. Some of us will always relate it to school or college. Some of us will think always we are targeting an aim when we talk about the term project. And then we have teamwork. Whenever we talk about project, some of us will say that it's teams. We are working in teams. Now, the proper definition or standard definition for a project says for you, it is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique service, product, or a result. If I were the one to define project, I will say a series of tasks. So we are having series of tasks, certain number of tasks that has a starting and beginning, or that have starting and beginning, and we are doing to achieve a certain unique outcome. Okay, so series of tasks or temporary series of tasks that are done to create a unique output. Are you okay? So we clubbed temporary. Okay, we clubbed temporary and we clubbed unique as well. Okay. Endeavor. When we talk about endeavor, are the things that you need to do. So it's something similar to series of tasks. Okay. Are we fine with that? Are we fine with the definition? Okay. Are we fine with the definition? Okay. So we are going now. We're going to go to the concept of project, program, and portfolio. Before starting, any person who knows what is the meaning of portfolio, especially architects, they should know what's a portfolio. Portfolio. Anybody knows what's the meaning of a portfolio? Okay, so a file that contains all of your project and work. So if we go, good Roman. Okay, so whatever we try to illustrate here to tell you the concepts of project, program, and portfolio, you already know what are the projects. Okay? You already know what is the meaning of project. Now we have two new terminologies. The first one is a program, and then the other one is portfolio. Now, if we see here, we have example number one. Okay, so if you see, we have different, let's say different structures. Can you see that we have different structures here? Okay, we have different structures here. So we have, let's say, a commercial, residential commercial building. We have a villa here. Okay, we have a villa here. We have another villa. We have a bridge here. We have a villa. We have a villa, and then we have residential commercial, and then we have a villa. Okay. Now, are they different projects or they are the same project? Are these 7 or 8 different or the same? Okay, so different. So these are actually representing 8 different projects. Okay, we have 8 different projects. Can they be clubbed together? Can we group them? Can we try to put them in certain groups? Okay, so different projects. Can we have them in different groups? Can we have them in different groups? Can you group these into different categories? Can I say residential, commercial, residential, infrastructure, or bridge? Can I say like this? Can I group them in this way? Okay. So when you try to connect or when you try to relate the projects together, we call them as program. Okay. The set of related projects, we call them to be programs. Are we clear? Are we fine? So now you can see here, we have 3 programs, 8 different projects. We have 3 programs. First one is going to be residential commercial. Second thing is residential. Third thing is an infrastructure. Are we fine? Okay. Or we can say that we have residential commercial, we have residential, and we have a bridge project. Are you okay? Residential commercial, residential, and then we have bridge. Are you okay? When you club these together, when you club the programs and the projects together, we call them to be portfolio. Okay, we call them to be portfolio. When you club all the programs together, when you club all the projects, we call them to be portfolio. Is it clear? Do you want me to give you another example? Once again, if you merge the projects, the different projects, which can be related together, if you relate them together, we call them as a program. The programs plus the other projects, we call them portfolio. Portfolio is whatever you have finished. Okay. So let's say I'll just give you courses, since this is something easier for you to understand. Okay, so certain courses that you have studied both from architecture and civil, and then we'll see. Okay, so let's say first course is project management, second course is design of structure, third course is theory of structure. Theory of structure, and then we have, for example, writing 1, and then we have basic math, we have calculus 1. Okay, so we have different courses now. We have project management, design of structure, theory of structure, writing 1, basic math, and then calculus. Okay, now how many groups you can do these projects? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different courses are there. Yes, 6 different courses. Okay, how would you group them? It's going to be up to you. Okay, how would you group them? It's going to be up to you. How would you see? Okay, like for example, if I was the one to group them, then the first one is going to be mathematics, and the mathematics is going to be having mathematics is going to be having basic math and calculus 1. Okay, and then the second group is going to be structures, where we are talking about design of structure and theory of structures. The remaining ones, since they were like only one course, okay, since they were only one course, like technical writing, and then we have project management, we can say that we have 2 groups and then 2 projects, or we can say that we have 4 groups. Both of them are fine. Are we clear? Basic math, calculus 1 is one group. Design of structure, theory of structure, another group. Remaining, we have only technical writing, and we have project management. Okay, so I can say either a project of technical writing and a project of project management, or we can say that a group of technical writing and a group of project management. Are we okay? So when I try to define portfolio, when I try to define whatever work I'm doing, I will say programs plus projects. Are we okay? Whatever I have done now, whatever courses you have done, you will say that they are set of programs and projects, or you will say that they are set of related projects. Related projects are programs and related projects. Can you turn off your mic, please? Okay. Is it clear whatever I have said? Are we clear? Any question? Okay. So either I'll say programs plus projects, or I'll say related projects and unrelated projects. Okay. Related projects are referred to programs. Unrelated projects are referring to projects are not having a group. Ashwaq, which point that was not clear? Last point about merging them. Okay, so once again, I'm repeating. We say, when it comes to the example that I have given you, we say that I have basic math and calculus 1. These 2 can be clubbed into mathematics courses. And then we have design of structures, theory of structures. These can be clubbed into structure. So now we have 2 groups. These two groups are called to be two programs. Okay. Now the remaining courses are technical writing one. This is a separate one, and then we have project management. So these are two separate things. We cannot merge them together. This is not related to the other one. So when I define programs, I will say the two programs will define portfolio. These are two programs that I have defined previously, the mathematics and then the structures, plus the project. So portfolio is programs plus projects, or I'll say that they are set of related projects. Related projects are referring to programs, and unrelated projects. Are you okay? Ashwaq, are we fine? Related projects refer to programs. Unrelated projects means you cannot put them in a group. Okay, now going to the core part where we are talking about knowledge areas. Now, when I say knowledge area, what do you think that we are talking about? Okay, when I say knowledge area, what do you think we are talking about? Knowledge area. When I say project management knowledge areas. Project management knowledge areas. Okay, project management knowledge areas are the areas that I should know about if I want to work in the field of project management. Are we okay? These are the areas that you should know if you are entering to the field of project management. Are we okay? And project management is considered to be the highest paid engineering job, the highest salary that you can get as an engineer if you are being a project manager. Okay? And you will see why later on. Okay. So what we see here, we have different areas. Okay, we have different areas: scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communication, risk management, procurement management, stakeholder integration. So we should know and understand all of these. Now, to keep it simple, rather than reading a lot, I have tried to simplify it, making it in terms of pictures and examples. Okay, so if we go to school, if we are going to the school, by the way, there are 10 knowledge areas. Okay, there are 10 knowledge areas which you can see here. Okay, these are the 10 knowledge areas. The first one is going to be school. We are going to start with the school. Now, what is the meaning of school first? Before we proceed, I have already told you, right? What is the meaning of school? What is the meaning of school? What we should do? Okay. 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 So the things that we need to do, we call them to be school. Okay. We call them to be school. So in summary, we talk about defining and managing work required. Okay, defining and managing work required. Let's have the example. Okay. Now I have a task. I have two designers. I have two architectural designers, and I have given them a task which is designing of a two-story villa. Okay, designing of a two-story villa. We had two engineers or two architects, engineer number one and engineer number two. Engineer number one, he has tried to show me his skills. So rather than doing a twin villa that I have asked him to do, he has done something bigger for me to show that he is a good architect. So he has done for me a multi-story building. The second architect, he has done a two-story villa. Okay, exactly as whatever I have asked him to do. Okay. Now, which one you think is the correct one? Which one is the correct one? So the correct one is going to be the second one, is the one who has listened to whatever was requested. Yeah. The one who has listened to whatever is requested and he has done accordingly. Are we okay? So when we talk about school, we talk about the things that we need to do, nothing more and nothing less. Are we okay? Is school management clear? Okay. Once again, when we talk about school management, we talk about defining whatever work is required to be done, and then that's the only thing that we need to do. Nothing is more. Okay. Going to the second point where we talk about schedule management. Schedule is referring to time, right? Schedule is referring to time. So you will see a lot that we are using what you call interrelated terms. Sometimes I'll say time management, other times I'll say schedule management. Both of them are fine. Okay. Now, when we see schedule management, it says for you, in order for you to have the full time, okay, I'll give you an example before we proceed. Now, if I have given you, if I told you that I want you to learn a program, or I want you to do an assignment. Okay? I want you to do an assignment which involves using a software. Would you tell me how much time would be required for you? How would you estimate the time required? Once again, I have told you that you have an assignment, and in this assignment, you need to use this particular software. How would you estimate how much time is required? Do you need to know what are the things? Do you need to know what are the things to be done? Do I need to know the things which are going to be done in order to decide what is the time required? I need to know the activities, right? Or I need to know what are the things to be done. Okay. So the first thing before deciding how much time is required for this particular project, first we need to know what are the activities. So if you see here, it says for you that you need to estimate the project activities. First thing, you need to go and you need to divide the project into smaller parts. Okay. To keep it simple. Okay. To keep it simple. Um, a lot of us are eating pizzas, right? A lot of us are eating pizzas. Why don't you eat the pizza one time? Why do you need to cut it? Once again, why don't we go and eat the pizza all together? Why do we need to cut it? Do you need to cut your pizza before eating it? Or you can cut it, you can eat it like this. You need to cut it, right? Okay. Same with the projects. Okay. The same with the project. when you take something which is huge, you cannot go and manage it. Okay, you cannot go and manage it. You cannot eat it. Now, for me, when it comes to the project, if I don't divide it to smaller items, these cannot be estimated. If somebody asks me, for example, how much time you require to do a two-story building, I'll, I'll I'll not be able to answer him. But if he asks me, for example, how many days you are required to do one foundation, I'll say, okay, it requires this time. Are we okay? So when it comes to schedule management, before starting the schedule management, first we need to divide our projects into smaller items. These smaller items we can go and estimate them later on. We can estimate how much time is required and how much resources are required and other things. Are we fine? Are we clear with that point? Are we fine? Okay. So let us see the example here. Okay. It says for you the task. I have given you a task that you need to arrive to the college. You have an exam in the college at 8 a.m. Okay, so you have one exam in the college at 8 a.m. and you are staying 30 minutes away from the college. You are staying 30 minutes away from the college. Okay. And we had two students. Okay, student number 1 and student number 2. Student number 1 and student number 2. So once again, my exam starts at 8 a.m. I should be there at 8 a.m. Otherwise, they will not allow me. From home to the college, I require 30 minutes. Now, student number 1 has left from his home at 7 o'clock. Student number 2 has left from home at 7:30. Now, which action you feel is correct? Now, what happens here? Okay, what happens here? You will see that the first student, instead of taking half an hour, he has taken 1 hour. The second student, he has taken exactly half an hour. Now, if nothing has happened, both of them are fine. Okay. But when we talk about future things, when I talk about me moving from home to the college, I don't know whatever is going to be happening over there. Okay, we don't know what's happening with the road. Maybe there is a traffic jam, maybe there is an accident, maybe my car is not going to work directly. A lot of things are there. Are we okay? So when we talk about schedule management, make sure when you do planning later on, because a lot of you are going to work as a planning engineer, okay, whether you are an architect or whether you are a civil engineer. Okay, if your task requires you 8 hours, make sure that instead of putting it to be 8 hours, make sure that it's going to be 10 or 12 hours. Is it clear? Always, when you try to plan for something, try to give yourself extra time. If I say this task requires me 8 hours and you didn't finish it in 8 hours, then everyone will question you later why you didn't finish it in the correct time. If the task, I know that it requires 8 hours, but I have planned, I said that I'm going to plan it for 10 hours. If I finished it before the 10 hours, then everyone will appreciate my work. Are we clear? Is it clear? Make sure when you plan for something, you give yourself extra flexibility time. Okay, and the summary here that you need to ensure to give more flexibility in your schedule. Are we okay? Okay. Now going for cost management. Cost management is very clear. Okay, cost management is very clear. So we'll go directly with the task. So going with the taxi driver. So I was planning to go and purchase an iPhone 11 Pro Max. This phone costs around 500 riyals, and I need a taxi driver to take me to the shop. Okay, we had two persons. Person number one, he took with him 500 riyals. The second person, he has taken with him 540 riyals. Okay, first one has taken 500, second one has taken 540. Okay. Now, which one you feel is which one is which one you feel that is going to be the correct one? The one who has 500 or the one who has 500? Okay. Okay. No, for me, clearly the correct answer is the second one. Okay, clearly the second answer is the second one. Always see, always relate the example to yourself. Now, if I'm going out, I'm going with my friend, and I know that I'm going to purchase something for 5 riyals. Always, whatever I'm going to take in my pocket is going to be more than 5 riyals. I'll not go only and take 5 riyals, just in case something has happened later on. Are we clear? Now, those who have said one, they missed that the cost of the phone actually costs 500, but still we need to pay for the taxi driver. Now, before going to the shop, okay, before going to the shop, I need to pay for the taxi driver. So if I started paying for the taxi driver, it means that I don't have 500 anymore. And if I don't have that 500 anymore, it means that I don't have sufficient money to go and purchase my phone now. Okay. So always when it comes as a summary of time and cost management, always when it comes to estimating how much time is required, how much cost is required, try to give yourself a little bit extra. For those who have studied civil engineering, you should have came across a word called contingencies or emergency amount of money. So always we keep certain amount in our project. We call it as an emergency or contingencies. That is going to be only used in case of emergencies. Okay. So first man, when he entered to the shop, he was planning to go for the 500, and then he wanted to take a cover as well, and he wanted to pay 5 riyals for the taxi driver, but unfortunately he has only 500, and he needs to pay for the taxi driver, so it means that he cannot purchase his phone. Second one, he knew that the phone will cost him 500, but he decided to take extra amount of money in case of anything has happened. So what has happened? He paid 5 riyals for the taxi driver, remaining with him 535. He was able to purchase the phone, and then he purchased whatever extra thing he wanted. Are we clear? Are we fine? Yes, Ahad. Tell me what's not clear. Okay. Okay. Going to quality management. Now, we talked about quality, right? We talked about quality. Okay, we talked about quality. So what is quality? I have already told you about quality. How would you describe quality? Okay, how would you describe quality? Do you remember when we talked about quality, right? Okay. We said we are referring to confirming a certain standard. So we need to have a standard. Following the standard is called quality. Do you remember this one? Do you remember? Okay. So for the case of quality, we have one example. So we said, in short, it says for quality management, you are going to ensure that the project satisfies its purpose or standards. That's the meaning of quality management. We are going to try to manage, or we are going to try to make sure that whatever we are doing is following our standards. So an example was manufacturing a 500 so plus or minus 20 ml is acceptable. We have two scenarios. Amar, my dear, if you see here, I have written clearly on the 2nd of October, the course materials can be found here only. This is the only handout, and all the questions and discussions will be from here. This is the link of whatever I'm showing for you, whatever I'm presenting for you. There is no PowerPoint, there is no handout. Are we clear, everyone? Are we clear? Okay. Okay. So now we have manufacturer 1 and we have manufacturer 2. By the way, the entire semester progress is available in their presentation. Okay, so you can even go and finish the whole semester. Okay, so manufacturer 1 and manufacturer 2 is there. So manufacturer 1, he has filled the bottle. Manufacturer 2, he has made half a bottle. Now, which one you think is correct? Which one you think is correct? Would you accept taking, we have two bottles here. I have two bottles. I don't know whether you can see or not. Two bottles. Bottle number 1, full. Second bottle is half. Which one would you agree and take? Full, half. Would you go for full one or the half one if you go and purchase something new? A full one, right? Okay. Why? Because for this bottle, he said for me it's 500 ml. It's 500 ml, and it was filled till the top. For this guy, he is telling me 500. His standard is 500, but he's not following his standard. Are we okay? Are we clear? If it's not clear, let me know, so I'll give you another example from construction. So once again, when we talk about quality management, we have a certain standard and we need to make sure that the standard is fit, or whatever we are doing is fit to the standard. Okay. After that, we have resources management. Now, when we talk about resources, we refer to what exactly? When we talk about resources, we refer to what exactly? When we talk about resources, in general, it involves what? There are three categories for resources. Three categories. Number 1 is machinery, machines. Number 2 is manpower, people working. Third thing, materials. Okay, so we have three things normally in resources: manpower, machinery, and materials. Three M's are there. Are we okay? When we talk once again, when we talk about resources, there are three categories normally: machines, manpower, and then materials. Are we okay with that? Okay. So let us see our example. So it says resources management. It's effective use of not only people, because we said people is only one category. Effective use of materials, effective use of people, and effective use of machinery as well. Okay. So the example that we are having is hiring and loads allocation for staff. So we have two universities, university number one and we have university number two. Okay. Now for university number one, they wanted an architect. They wanted an architect to teach architectural courses. Have brought a civil engineer to do or to teach this particular architectural course. The second scenario, what they had four lecturers. Two lecturers are having four courses, and the other two are having only two. Okay. They wanted an architecture or an architect to teach an architectural course, but they have brought a civil engineer. They had four staff. Two of them are having four courses. Two of them are having two courses. This is university number one. University number two, for the job of an architect, they brought an architect. Okay. For the staff, they had four staff as well, but everyone is getting three courses. Now, which one do you feel that is correct? Number one or number two? Okay. Amira might be, the network might be not good. I don't know. Others, are you able to follow with me? Okay, so which one you think is correct? University one or university two? University two. Okay, what is the reason of university two? Second, two things only. Okay, two things. If we try to summarize, whatever they have said, we need to hire the one deserved. If you go and hire, okay, if you go and hire a person, you should put the correct person in the correct position. Okay. You go and hire the correct person for the correct position. They wanted the position of an architect. First university, they brought a civil engineer. Second university brought an architect. So the correct one is the one who will bring whatever is required. I require an architect, so I'll bring an architect. Okay. Amir, everyone, the others are saying the network is fine. So if not, return back to the recording later. Okay. Now the other scenario, we have four staff members. Okay, we have four staff members. Two of them are overloaded. Two of them are having more work. Two of them are having lesser work. Now, what will happen in this organization if people are working more, people are working less? Do you think problems will happen? Of course, problems will be happening. Those two who are having four, they will feel that it's unfair for them. Are we okay? Now, if you give all of them three courses, will they fight? Will they complain? If I have given all of them, okay, if I have all of them three courses, do they have something to fight for? Okay, so whatever we try to illustrate, when it comes to human resources, or when it comes to resources, you need to put the correct thing in the correct position. That's number one. Second thing, you don't need to make problems inside your organization. Okay, you don't need to make problems inside your organization. To avoid that, make sure that you are being fair to everyone. Are we clear? Are we fine? Of course, university too. I'll give you an example, sure. I'll give you an example. Now, you are being a civil engineer soon, inshallah. Okay. Would you agree to work in a mechanical job? Or would you agree that that particular location, instead of giving you a civil engineering job, they say it for you, it's a civil engineering, but they are letting you to work in the mechanical. Is it fine? It's not fine, right? Because I don't have that experience or that knowledge in mechanical to judge. Okay, so that's related to hiring the one deserves. Second thing, now, is it fine if I work from 8 morning to 8 evening while the others are working from 8 morning to 2? Is it fine? Do you think that it's fine? Would you go and work, or you feel it's unfair? Unfair, right? So when we talk about resources management, once again, we make sure that whatever we require, we are going to be assigning the correct thing for it, and we shouldn't overload. Okay? We shouldn't overload on the other things. I think by now it should be clear. Okay, it should be clear. Communication management. Communication management. Okay, we are going to go for communication management. So, dealing with information. In short, it's dealing with information. We have two situations. We have one task, and then we have two situations once again. Task is checking the progress of an important meeting with a supplier. Okay. We have two managers. Now, what has happened here? What has happened here? We have a manager. The manager was so busy that he could not attend a very important meeting with the supplier. So we have a manager, we have a supplier. The manager was so busy that he could not meet with the supplier, but this meeting is very important. So what he has done, he went for the secretary, and he asked her to go and send an email to the assistant manager. So the assistant manager will attend. Are we clear? Once again, manager was busy, manager is busy, he cannot attend the meeting, the very important meeting with the supplier. So he asked his secretary to go and send an email to his assistant manager to go and attend the meeting with the supplier. Are we okay? Let us see the two scenarios. Now the secretary tried to send an email. There was there were two Salam Saeed in the organization. In that organization, there were two Salam Saeed. One Salam Saeed is the assistant manager, and then the other one is the driver. In scenario number one, the secretary has sent the email to Salam Saeed, who is the driver. Second scenario, the secretary has sent it to Salam Saeed, who is the assistant manager. Now, do you feel that there is any problem with case number one? Do you think that there will be any problem in case number 1? Now, of course, if I didn't know as an assistant manager, if I didn't know about the meeting, I'll not go and attend the meeting. If I didn't know that there is a quiz, I cannot go and take the quiz. Are we clear? Okay. So when we talk about communication management, you should know, okay, or you should keep track. You should keep a track of the communication from where it goes to where it turns or where it's going to be received. Are we fine? I'll give you an example. Let's say that I was building my villa. So I have a contractor. I was starting to do the construction for the villa. Now I used to go to the site. I used to go to site each and every day to check the progress, whatever the contractor has finished. One week I was not in Oman. Okay, I was not in Oman. So I have asked my brother to go to the site and to check the progress. Okay. Now, when my brother went to the site, he has seen, for example, or he had seen that there are 2 toilets only. Okay. And he has asked the contractor to do a 3rd toilet. Now, as a contractor, what you should do? Once again, I was not there. So my brother went to the site. He has seen that there are 2 toilets only. So he has asked the contractor to increase 1 toilet. What the contractor will do? Is it a proper channel of communication? The villa is mine. There is a contractor who is working. Is it a proper channel of communication? Will the contractor go and do that toilet? Okay. Okay. So let's say I'll take the scenario that we were talking about, that he should contact me. So he contacted me. He contacted me. Okay. And I told him to do the toilet. Is it a proper channel of communication? Once again, brother went over there. Once again, my brother went over there. He has seen 2 toilets. He has asked the contractor to go and do a toilet. And I asked you, what will the contractor do? You say that he will not do anything. He should contact me. So the contractor has contacted me, and I told him to do. I told him to do the toilet. Is it the proper way of communication? My brother telling the contractor, is it the proper way? Me informing the contractor, is it the proper way? Now both scenarios are not okay in terms of communication. When it comes, okay, let me just clarify here, because you will be missing the point. Okay, you will be missing the point. Whether I contacted the contractor or whether my brother has contacted, the first scenario where my brother has contacted the contractor is totally wrong. Okay, my brother has no authority to go and order the contractor to do anything. That's number 1. Number 2, if I was the one telling the contractor to do the work, it should not be verbal. If it's verbal, the contractor is not going to do it. Are we clear? When we talk about channel of communication, we should, in terms of project, 3D project, we are not going verbal, we are going written. I can easily say that today I'm telling the contractor to do the toilet, and tomorrow I'll say that I didn't tell you to do so. Are we clear? The contractor, when he is doing your project, he will be doing it according to your drawings. Everything is written. If I ask him verbally to add something, he should not do it. It's not a proper way of communication. The proper way of communication is to write it down for him and produce new drawings. Are we clear? So later on, he can say for you that, see, previously it was 2 toilets. Now you brought for me another toilet or another drawing which contains 3 toilets. Are we clear? So the mode of communication is very, very important. Okay, it's very important. That's why always, when it comes to projects, you need to keep it as written rather than verbal. Okay. Risk management. Um, okay. Are you able to hear me? Because it shows me a bad network quality. Can you hear me? Now, can you hear me? Cannot hear me now? Yes, means you can hear me? Okay. Bad connection. Yeah, it's showing for me a bad connection. Now we are okay? Okay. Okay. So we'll go to the risk management. Now in the risk management we have 600 trees. Okay, we have 600, the task is to plant 600 trees. Okay, and we have farmer number 1, we have farmer number 2. Farmer number 1, he said planting time per tree requires 5 minutes. Okay, each tree to be planted is requiring 5 minutes. Total planting time 600, because it was 600 trees. So 600 trees multiplied by 5 minutes for each tree is going to give you 3,000 minutes. What he said requires hours and days. He bought a calculator. He said, okay, now I require 3,000 minutes. How many hours? I'll divide it by 60. So we have 50 hours. And he said, okay, now this 50 hours, I'm going to do them in 3 days. Okay, so this is case number 1. Case number 2, the second farmer said, once again, planting time per tree is 5 minutes. Total planting time is 600 into 5, that is 3,000 minutes. And he said, I need to take extra time just in case of anything happening, 200 minutes. Okay, so the required actually is 3,000, but I'm going to take 200 in case of anything is happening. And he said workers can work only for 8 hours per day. Okay, what he has done, he said, now the total time is 3,200, including the 200 hour and 200 minutes. I need to divide it by what you call 60. So we have 53 hours, 53.33 hours. Each day they can work only 8 hours, so I need to divide it by 8. So they are going to finish in around 7 days. So scenario number one, he is saying that he will finish the project in 3 days. Scenario number 2, he's saying that he will finish it in 7 days. Which one you will go for? Hamira, why would you go for 3 days? Okay, I'll just keep it. Just keep it simple. I'll just keep it simple. If you told me, that you can do, if you can do a task, okay, okay. If you told me that you can do a task in 1 hour, in 1 hour, but you have done it in 15 minutes. You cannot hear my voice? You cannot hear my voice now? My voice is not clear? You can, it's clear. Okay. Then Ashwaq, if it's not clear, then wait for the recording. Okay. Now, if I'll just give you an example and will clarify. If I say that I want you to do a task for me in 1 hour, or you told me that you will do a task in 1 hour. If you have done it in 30 minutes, will it be something good or not? That's good, right? Okay. If you have done it, if you have done it, if you have done it in 2 hours, is it good or bad? If 2 hours is going to be bad, if 30 minutes is going to be good, right? Okay. Now, what I try to illustrate here, the planning was 1 hour. If you are doing something lesser than your plan, then it's fine. If you go something beyond your plan, that's going to be something which is bad. Okay. Now, if you see scenario number 1 and scenario number 2, scenario number 1, he said, okay, he said he will work for 8 hours per day. Scenario number 2, he will work for 8 hours per day. Scenario number 1, scenario number 1, he said that he will do 50 hours per day for 3 days. Now, is it logical, according to you, is it logical are going to work 16 or let's say 17 hours without being tired, without making mistakes? Is it something which is logical?
Sir, it's not my problem. He said that, so he should do it with the document.
It's your problem because finally he will be delayed and you will be affected. That's why you need to pick the correct one.
Sir, if he delay, at least he will not delay 8 hours for per day. That means maybe he will spend 5 days and less than 5 days. But the second
Yeah,
one, he's of course 7 days.
no, but see, in your scenario, whatever you are saying, for example, let's say that I was planning to bring chairs. Okay, let's say that after planting this particular area, I was planning to bring something else as well. Okay, I was planning to bring chairs and whatever and organize the place. Now, if he is telling you to do it in 3 days, it means that you will put the second task to start directly after 3 days. Okay, I'll go and bring the chairs. I'll arrange with the person who is having the furniture to bring it for me in 3 days. Are we okay? Now, if he didn't finish, it means that you cannot start the other task. Your whole plan is going to be affected. Now, for me, second scenario, true that he told me 7 days. If he finished it in 5 days, I'll not be having an issue. Are we okay? Is it clear? Your plan should be something logical. Your plan should involve extra things to include risks that might be happening. Okay? And working for 17 hours is not something which is logical. Even if you say that he will do it, you should be logical with yourself, saying that it's not possible to do that. Like if a person is saying for you, okay, I'll construct a villa for you in 1 month. Now there are technology. I'm talking about general construction, regular construction. It's not something logical to do the construction in 1 month. It means he cannot be a Superman doing it in 1 month. It's not possible. It's not logical. Okay. Yeah, you are not the one to add time. He is the one to add time. You are the one to approve or not. He is the planner. Okay. Ashraf, if I told you I'm going to construct a villa for you in 1 month, is it something logical? Once again, as an owner, I'm not the one who is planning. The person who is planning is the person who will do the work. Okay. He should put extra time for himself in case of anything happening. If he didn't finish it in the correct time, you are going to be affected because he didn't finish it. At that time, there is no point of fighting with him that he didn't finish. Because from the beginning, the whole plan was not accurate. The whole plan was not logical. Okay. What was not clear, Ashwa? What was not clear? Others, are you able to hear my voice?
Mister, there is difference between the text we receive here and you received. I mean,
Yeah.
we will get the message before you.
Yeah, always there is a delay in terms of the software. That's happening. Always you will not get it in the same time. I'm saying it in the same time that I'm talking. Okay. So once again, for those who are having an issue that they cannot hear me properly, you can return back to the recording. If you didn't see anything, if you didn't understand anything, you can revert back to me. So I'll clarify it. Okay, we'll take the last knowledge area. We'll take the last knowledge area and then we'll stop. I was planning to finish the whole entire areas, but unfortunately, okay. So let's say here we are talking about procurement management. I think it's too late. We cannot finish. Okay. Anybody is having a class at 10:30, at 11:30? If you're having a class, I'll just stop here. You can contact me. You can write your questions in the Teams directly and answer them. You can start a new conversation from here. This is a new conversation. You can write your question and then I'll answer. Okay, so since students are having a class, then we'll end up today's lecture, and then we are going to continue the remaining thing in the other lectures. Okay, so best of luck.